All right, happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to Survive to Thrive. Definitely grab some pen and paper. Today is a note-taking day. So I've been reading The One Thing again by Gary Keller, and we're in the middle of a six-step series on six lies between you and success. And to review, those six lies are everything matters equally. We did a deep dive on that this past Tuesday. The second lie is multitasking, and we're going to go deep on that today. Number three is a disciplined life. Four is willpower is always on will call. Five is a balanced life. And six is big is bad. So let's talk about multitasking. And I'm not going to go super fast because I want you guys to be able to take notes. But at the same time, this is being recorded. So if you miss something, no worries. It will be on YouTube and you will be able to go back and listen to the or watch the recording and fill in your notes. So most people will believe multitasking makes them more productive. In reality, multitasking destroys focus, efficiency, and results. I like that view better. Okay, moving on. According to the one thing, you can do two things at once, but you cannot focus effectively on two things at once. And Joe Grant put this in the chat on Monday just as proof. If you want to prove that multitasking is a lie, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A1, B2, C3, D4, E5, or A, B, C, D, E, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which one takes less time? Obviously, if you focus on just one thing, it's going to take less time to do the one thing than it would to do two things at once. Just a simple exercise to prove that multitasking is a lie. Okay, success comes from sequential focus, not divided attention. Now, every single one of these are bullet points that I took out of reading the book for you. And, part of my job as a trainer and coach is to read and read a lot so you don't have to, and then to share the information that I get from those books with you. All right, multitasking is really task switching. So what people call multitasking is actually switching back and forth. Every time you switch task, your brain must stop one activity, reorient to another, regain concentration. This creates mental fatigue, reduced accuracy, lower quality work, and slower execution. Task switching comes with a hidden price: lost momentum, lost clarity, lost energy, lost time. The brain doesn't instantly reset. Each interruption leaves part of your attention behind. Every distraction steals from your best work. Why multitasking feels productive. And here's the thing, guys, it does, and I know there's 58 of you on the call right now. There's somebody here that's totally disagreeing with everything I'm saying. I get it, all right? It's totally okay. I have this conversation with my wife and she'll tell me, no, John, multitasking is a must. You have to be able to multitask. And then she'll say, every mother on the planet will tell you that. You can't be a mom without being a multitasker. Okay, I get that. I really do. I'm not going to argue that point, by the way, but I will come back to I totally believe in the power of focus. And when it comes to business, let's just put it this way. When it comes to business and it comes to your real estate business, you can't lead generate, check emails, and send text messages at the same time and be effective. Right, Karen Richardson? Okay. So I get that. So everybody don't get mad at me, okay? I hope I recover okay there, Karen? I hope I did. I think I did. Okay, good. All right. Multitasking feels productive. It creates the illusion of progress. You feel busy, but busy is not the same as productive. Write that down. Busy is not the same as productive. We go through the day, we work really, really hard all day long. We're busy, 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 doing this, doing that, doing this, doing that, doing this, doing that. And at the end of the day, we feel like we had a super productive day. Now, my question to that agent, if I were talking to them, would be, how many people did you talk to? How many leads did you get? How many people did you add to your database? How many appointments did you go on? How many appointments did you schedule? Oh, John, I didn't do any of those things. But I did, I answered a lot of emails and I sent out a lot of text message and I had, things that I needed to take care of for a closing that's happening this Thursday. I spent 3 hours putting out a file. And not that those things don't matter, but they don't matter equally. All right. Multitasking lowers performance. When you multitask, you make more mistakes. Fact. You retain less information. You perform at a lower level. You take longer to finish important work. Your best thinking requires undivided attention. But that's a hard one. Undivided attention. You got all these thoughts that go on in your mind, right? Like 4,000 thoughts a minute or some crazy number like that. And you're supposed to focus and give something your undivided attention. Maybe it's a reticular activator. I don't know. But it feels like every single person I speak to, Tarsha, has ADD. They tell me, oh, I have ADD. I hear it all the time. I have ADD. I have ADD. I mean, raise your hand if you don't have ADD, right? Everybody has ADD, right? So actually, diagnosed, there's the word I'm looking for. When I was much younger as ADD, and there was other letters that went with it way back then, right? And it's a real thing. Now, my solution to ADD is to hyperfocus. I feel like someone who's truly ADD, they have this given embedded gift of being able to hyper focus. Now, hyper focus is being so focused on what you're working on at the time that everything else around you disappears. You don't see it, you don't hear it. You are so dialed in and laser focused on that conversation, then the next conversation, then the next conversation, then the next conversation, that all of this stuff that's going on around you doesn't exist. Success requires extreme focus. Extraordinary results come from prioritization, elimination. That's the whole idea behind 10x is easier than 2x, and the reason that 10x is easier than 2x, it's easier. Get that. It's easier. It's not harder. It's easier is because in order to 10x your business, you can't work harder. You can't double down. You can't just put in more hours. I can't put in twice the effort and 10x my business. I can 2x it, but I can't 10x it. In order to 10x my business, I have to eliminate everything but the one thing that matters most. And if you're wondering, John, what's the one thing that matters most? What is that thing? Is it a secret? Are you going to tell us? What's the one thing that matters most? And my response to that would be, are you kidding me? How long have I been doing this call? How long have I been talking to you? Do you really not know that the one thing is lead generation? Now, you have to define lead generation because I can't just spend 2 hours in lead generation 10 and say, okay, I was in lead generation for 2 hours. What'd you do? How do you know you succeeded? Lead generation to me is defined by conversations, leads, appointments booked. I have daily non-negotiable standards for conversations, leads added to my database, appointments booked. I'm going to have 20 conversations, book 2 appointments, whichever comes last. I'm going to add at least 1 new lead to my database. That's lead generation defined. Until that's done, nothing else matters. Protecting your time. High achievers do not try to do everything. Boy, that's true. They identify the most important thing and attack it first. You guys have heard me say many, many times, as a real estate agent, I'm only good at 2 things. I'm only good at 2 things. I suck at everything else. By the way, I am totally okay with sucking at everything else. Now, the 2 things that I'm really, really good at is lead generation, lead conversion, lead follow-up. Those 3 things are one thing, by the way. Lead generation, lead conversion, and lead follow-up, and seller listing appointments. That's it. Those are the only 2 things I'm good at. Now, come to me and ask me a question about contracts. I'm like, I don't know. Ask me anything about contract to close, no idea. I've never read the contract. I've never written a contract. I've never done one thing, contract to close. The only 2 things I did in 15 years of production of selling 100 homes a year was lead generate and go on listing appointments. That's it, Karen. That's all I did. Everything else can be done by somebody else. And everybody who excels in life, they get this. But for some reason, as real estate agents, we think we need to do everything, right? It'd be like being on the football team and thinking, I'm going to play all 11 positions on the offense. I could be the quarterback. I could be the wide receiver. I could be the center. I could be the guard. I could be the tackle. I could be the tight end. I could be the running back. Tom Brady, GOAT, greatest of all time, best quarterback to ever play the game, runs like a giraffe. He looks ridiculous when he's running. He's not a running quarterback. He sucks at that. He's slow. Definitely not a receiver. Put him on the offensive line, he'd get killed. But he's a GOAT at quarterback. Your sport is real estate. Your position is lead generate, lead conversion, follow up, go on listing appointments, take seller listings. Everything else will take care of itself. So, what's the one thing I could do such that by doing it, everything else becomes easier or unnecessary? Multitasking in real estate, prospecting by checking text, prospecting while checking text, calling leads while scrolling email. I bet you, here's a fun one. Don't raise your hand. Don't raise your hand. But somebody on this call is looking at their text messages as I'm talking to you. Somebody on this call is looking at Facebook while I'm talking to you. I guarantee it. That's right, Brian. Brian's laughing. He's like, John, you're right. I absolutely guarantee it. By the way, when I'm on these calls and I'm not the one speaking, but I'm watching, I look at everybody else and I can tell who's really listening, who's focusing, and who's off doing something else. They're multitasking. Protect appointment setting time. Work from a daily priority list. Eliminate distractions during money-making activities. What is the highest dollar per hour thing I should be doing right now? All right, wrapping it up. Focus is superpower. You do not need more time. That's a lie. I hear that one all the time too. Man, what's the one thing you need? And I ask that question to real estate agents all the time. What's the one thing you need that you currently don't have? More time? No, you're wrong. You don't need more time. You need more clarity and concentration. Productivity is not about doing more things. It's about doing the right things first. All right, bringing it home. Most agents don't have a time problem. They have a focus problem. The agent who learns to eliminate distractions and dominate the one thing will always outperform the agent trying to do everything. I only do one thing well. The one thing, there's two, but there's only one thing that matters. Lead generation, lead conversion, lead follow up. That's it. Lead generation, lead conversion, lead follow up. That's it. When you were in real estate school and you're getting your license, they didn't tell you, hey, by the way, you're getting into the lead generation business, but you are. And guess what? It's the same thing is true for anybody in any business. I mean, if I'm a doctor, if I'm an attorney, if I have a CPA practice, if I have if I don't care if I cut lawns for a living, I can't make money if I don't have clients. I got to find people who want to work with me. I was having a talk with a rock star who's making the conversion from new home sales to general real estate, what we all do. And the big aha for her was she moved from a lead conversion role to a lead generation role. If you're working for a brokerage or a team that's feeding you leads and you have all these leads coming in, you're in the lead conversion business. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But you're paying a high price for that. 30-40% referral fees. My question to you would be, what if you mastered lead generation such that you could do the same amount of business without paying those 30-40% referral fees? Until you master lead generation, then lead conversion may be the only fallback. I don't know. All right, talk to me. What are you guys thinking? Talk to me, Lauren.
This really hit home for me. My question is, so aside from, and I don't know if there's newer agents on here, so this may be a good question for newer agents. How you're saying we can't handle everything. We need to delegate. So aside from a transaction coordinator and scheduling professional photography, those little things for listing. I guess for a buyer and listing agent, what are some other ways to delegate things
Good question. It's a really good question. So first of all, everybody should start out by hiring a transaction coordinator from deal one.
Hmm.
And they
And
just tell me all
look,
the time, but I need to learn how to do it. I'm like, why? Why do you need to learn how to do it? I don't need to know how to change my oil. Boy, I don't want to learn how to change my oil. I'm never going to change my oil, right? So from day one, now, Lauren, the rest of it is you got to lead with revenue. So you got to make money before you spend money. Now, the way that I teach leverage is when you get to a point where you are closing 2 deals a month consistently
mhm,
over a period of 4 or 5 months, it's time to hire your first assistant. Now, until you get to that place where you're closing, because you got to pay these people, before you're at that point, then you are going to have to do all of the jobs. But it still doesn't mean that all of those jobs are equal. They're not. Lead generation is always going to be number one. Now, the other thing that's really that you should look into immediately is can you hire a virtual assistant on a part-time basis who can take away 80% activities for you in order to free up more time for you to spend on your 20%? So transaction coordinator, virtual assistant, and full-time assistant who's working for you is the path I would follow. Beth, talk to me.
So I am okay. So my biggest takeaway is I don't have a time problem. I have a focus problem.
Mhm.
But I just wanted to state that my TC is better than me at her job.
Right.
She upped my game of professionalism so much. Her communication is ridiculous.
That's right.
And she's better than me. And I've been doing general brokerage for 16 years. I've only been using her for about 8 months, and it's changed the way I look. And freed me up for so much more to focus on lead generation.
That's right. I told everybody, been in the business for 24 years. I suck as a real estate agent. My wife is the realtor. If you have any real estate questions, talk to my wife. She's the one. She's the master of the game at this. I lead generation, listing appointments. That's it. That's all I do. That's all I can do. It's all I ever want to do. All right, Brian, talk to me.
In our industry, I see so many people, like you said, it really hit home today, trying to be everything to everybody at all times. And people are so afraid to invest in their business.
Mm,
Like, you got to spend a little money to make money. And so that's one thing that even after 20 plus years in the business, every time I feel like it's a big leap to
mm.
like have to write a check to get rid of tasks that I don't enjoy. It's a complete game changer in my life.
Right.
So, like, even getting a bookkeeper to reconcile, I used to stay up all night reconciling all these accounts. Like, just getting rid of that is just a huge relief. And so it frees up not only time, but also mental capacity,
That's right.
of having to do things you really don't enjoy or want to do.
That's right. Good stuff, Brian. Iris, talk to me.
Hello. I really like this coaching today because it's something that I deal on a regular basis. As a solo agent for 8 years, I love what I do, but it become very dragging doing everything and anything. So, and I developed some issues the last couple 2 years that I have forced me to slow down. And one of the things that I'm doing with my counseling is focus on one thing and just stay with that. And for listen to this right now, it reinforced all that for me. And that's something that I'm learning now. Because how many tasks that I have to do when you have to do transaction, you have to do this, it gets really crazy and very stressful. So that's one thing I'm learning is just to focus on one thing, work on that, become good at it, and delegate the rest.
There you go. There you go. Great stuff. Talk to me, Karen.
Real quick, I did put it in the chat, but for virtual assistants, there's a site online called Fiverr with two R's at the end. And you can hire virtual assistants from there super, super cheap for like $10, $20. I've used them to do signatures, flyers, Canva stuff, marketing, stuff like that. Really cheap. It's like a marketplace. You put what you want and people raise their hand and do it.
All right, that is awesome. And I'm going to go before I have a coughing fit on top of all of you.
Feel better.
Great call. Thanks,
Feel
John.
better, John.
Make it a great day. See you guys tomorrow morning.
Thanks, John. Have a great day.
All right.
Hundreds of agents have leveled up their systems and listings with Coach John's coaching. Your turn starts here. Scan the QR code to schedule your session.
And don't forget to subscribe and share this with someone who's serious about building long-term wealth in real estate.